It's Alex Jarett with Technology Executives Club, and I've got with me Dr. Amit Shah, who's the founder and CEO of GNS AI. And we're going to do a special segment called AI Trends in Healthcare. Amit, thank you for being here again.
Happy to join. Yeah.
Yeah, happy to have you. All right. So before we start, I want to show you a segment from Amit, one of Amit's videos. He's also in our program, our Board of Advisors program. It's called Turning AI Boundaries into Better Healthcare Options. Go through your page. I'll show people how to do that. So I'm going to go to the advisor section, and then I'm going to scroll down here. And this was this one here. And I want to start at 127. Perfect. This is just, you get to know Amit a little, Dr. Shaw a little. And this is a really cool segment, Amit.
How that turned into data science. We worked with data. We collected data on how people move and did advanced analytics and did a lot of work on clinical studies and clinical approaches to understanding confounding variables and so on. And that's what data science really is fundamentally about. It's about mapping and understanding business processes and what really drives those and how do you affect a change. I got into my PhD because I was really interested in stroke research and how the innovative technologies could be used to change health outcomes. My grandfather was bedridden from multiple strokes. My father is a physician and endocrinologist. Medicine has been a part of my life from day one, essentially looking at people who deal with illnesses like diabetes and chronic conditions. My mom has glaucoma and diabetes and high blood pressure. There's so many different things that can be done with the technology to improve outcomes.
It's touching that you're really involved in this. You're a man on a mission here to use this advanced technologies to help people. So let's tie that to what you're doing now. When I look at your bio, you founded and are running this company called GNS AI. And when I read it, it says that you're turning healthcare and life sciences data into predictable revenue without breaking operational compliance limits. I don't hear a lot of people putting that together, except the people that are always saying, hey, don't forget about governance. Am I reading that right?
Absolutely, because just a simple error by an AI system can be catastrophic in healthcare, especially with the wrong diagnosis, the wrong recommendation, or even just mishandling care transitions can cause patients to be much worse off than they would have been. So it's important to deploy AI in a meaningful way within the workflow. So you need to understand the limits of where AI works well and where it doesn't. Otherwise, there could be catastrophic loss. And so boundary learning and understanding limits has been the focus of my entire life. It's my namesake, essentially learning limits or limitless. It's inspiration from Ganesh, an epithet of Ganesh, who is the remover of obstacles. That's also why my logo is an elephant. It's an homage to that.
I had to get that in. I think that's the coolest thing, Amit. So anyways, everybody, you should watch that. Amit's great. I love having you here. I love having you involved. And he's really, if you haven't noticed, pretty smart cookie, as my dad would say. Let's get back to the slides. And thanks, Tori, for your comment. I love the focus on outcomes. People, especially technical people, tend to focus too much on the technology rather than measurable results of utilizing technology. Right on, right on. All right, let's keep moving. So these are the headlines that Amit has put together for us. I'm going to read them to save you I'll help you a little bit. I'm just going to read them real quick. And why don't we pick one or two that you want to really zero in on a little bit? So IQVIA launches IQVIA.ai agentic platform with NVIDIA. Interesting. NVIDIA survey, AI is moving from pilots to execution in healthcare and life sciences. That's interesting. Proteina Complexa, a protein design reasoning model, validates 1 million plus binders. That's actually interesting. Which one do you want to zero in on this slide?
Well, yeah, 1 and 3 are very interesting and highly relevant. IQVIA's agentic AI platform, I mean, they're basically creating an execution layer off of their data assets.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
That's
and so,
interesting.
Yeah, so they partnered with NVIDIA to create 180 agents to control the entire life cycle of clinical trials. And I'm actually building a study feasibility engine for clinical trials and a control system around it. But the idea here is that's another aspect of my projects. But the, the idea here is that now clinical trial operations are going to be executed by agents, and there's going to be less human intervention, which is, I think, both an efficiency. It's going to become very efficient, but I worry about the regulatory
Yeah.
aspect and the auditability of certain decisions, especially when it comes to patient care. These subjects are going to be treated and in these trials.
So the third one, you said you were interested in that. Give us a quick net your thoughts on this one.
Sure. So protein complexes is an interesting model. I mean, there are a lot of models now being used as infrastructure for designing drugs and
Yeah.
creating therapeutics. But right now, we're seeing validation at the assay level. In terms of just interacting with drug targets, right, and
Huh.
validating that they're functionally valid, but they're not biologically valid yet because we have to
Oh.
look at the interaction affected when they're embedded in human and animal models. So it's promising, but it's layer one of validation, not the not the full stack. So what I feel is there could be a great degree of a lot of failures in clinical trials coming from just elevated what presumes to be signal when it could be noise. So elevated noise to
Oh.
signal ratio, because you have a lot more identifiable, uh, you know, targets that you're deploying into clinical trials. So I think that digital twins of patients and animal models are going to become really necessary to really filter down the ones that pass through and get into clinical trials.
That's great. That's such a deep insight. All right, let's keep
Yeah,
moving. So here's the next three. NVIDIA, and hey, you just talked about it. Digital
yeah.
twin stack. Amazon releases healthcare AI agents for patient access and documentation. Google expands AI-enabled health features and clinical AI literacy. Isn't it amazing that all these big companies are getting into everything? So what, there's
They're
my
controlling the
comment, right?
infrastructure. Yeah,
Yeah, they're controlling everything, and that's
yeah,
another topic for another day.
yeah.
But and by the way, we love you guys, everybody at the top listening to this. So so which one do you want to highlight on this one? Let's pick one from this topic. They're all
Well, I mean,
interesting.
I recently attended NAHAM, which is the
Yeah,
National Association for Healthcare Access Management, which
yeah,
specifically is about number five, right? Amazon
yeah.
releasing healthcare aid for
Oh,
patient access and documentation. That's the whole front door of of clinical workflows, and basically you're dealing with scheduling, eligibility, prior auth, and
oh, right.
getting them through the front door and getting them the care they need. Identity is a huge issue because obviously names are not unique.
Yeah,
I've struggled with that. There are tons of
yeah.
Amit Shahs, and my identity was once confused with another in healthcare, like getting a bill for somebody else's work. And so I would I would say that this is a huge asset for patient access. It's going to make it much more streamlined, but you have to design the operating model around it to make sure that you know in, it's actually improving the work for directors of patient access and VPs of patient access.
Okay,
Yeah,
great. So I want to talk about the first one because it has robots. I
sure.
think that's cool. You
Yeah,
know, I remember when my favorite author is one of my favorite authors is Michael Crichton. Remember they were in
yeah.
that movie, I think it was the Andromeda Strain where they were showing
Oh yeah.
the hands, and then they put the hands into the surgical gloves. As you can see, they put the hands
Hmm.
in the surgical gloves. And even that was cool. Now you see guys doing that, doctors, ladies and ladies, doing that, but the robots are on the other side of the world.
Telerobotics. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. So they're but it's the same thing, basically. They're
Yeah.
just communicating. So, but now we're talking about robots. I can't wait for, I missed the robot haircut. I think I missed that one.
Wait,
But
what's the robot haircut?
well, you just, you're the robot haircut machine. I'm sure someone's going to invent that. You
Oh
just put
yeah,
your
yeah.
head in there, it gives you a haircut. Come on.
Okay, yeah, I
So
get it. I
if these
guess we
aren't
both
too
missed
hard
it.
to
Yeah,
figure out, yeah, we
yeah.
both missed that one. But in healthcare, where do you see, quick answers, where do you see robots being used right away in healthcare?
Well, it's going to be obviously in surgery, and then of course, distributing the medication.
Oh, that
It's
makes
going to be,
sense.
yeah.
Yeah,
I think those are the two, and supplies, obviously, just distributing supplies across the different floors, making sure that the critical supplies are well stocked and uh, available for emergencies and so on. So
that's
that's going to
great.
be,
That's great. It's going to be a wild world coming up.
yeah,
So, while you were saying, I was thinking about, the robot distributing pharmacies. I had all these visions of different personality with robots. We got a hip guy walking around with all the
yeah,
drugs in his here. What do you need? But I think you're talking more about like a dispensary, more of a
yeah,
formal thing, but that's the first thing my head went to. What does that tell you? So, number 7, deep intellect, intelligent pharma and peers named top life sciences AI platforms. A lot of these big platforms are coming out. I'll read that.
yeah,
Industry guide identified deep intelligent pharma, NVIDIA, metadata, Alkin, and in silico medicine as top life science AI players for 26. So clearly, this thing about these platforms is huge. It's a huge area, huge potential market, and people are going after it. Rapid and Tempest highlighted as key healthcare AI companies to watch in 26. Um, let's see. Let's see. In 26, Rapid focuses on faster, more accurate patient risk identification. That's kind of about your area, risk, to
yeah,
support outcomes and financial performance. While Tempest is described as the most advanced AI powered precision medicine platforms, you were just talking about that with large scale data assets, broad commercial relationships. Top AI tools for biomedical research in 26, AlphaFold through 3,
three. Mm-hmm.
Genformer,
G-former,
SC.
SCGPT,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
single cell GPT, yeah.
Oh, wow. And finally, industry media highlights AI platforms. Pick one of these from this topic. Let's zero in on one of these as our final thing.
Yeah. So I think that if we're looking at top AI tools for biomedical research in 2026,
Yeah, yeah.
a lot of models are being trained on public data sets on single cell multiomics, and basically biomedical research is going to be rapidly accelerating due to all these different cool, I mean, really interesting infrastructure tools that are going to be used for identifying, again, drug targets, and simulating outcomes with combinations of different tools, and et cetera. So I think that that's going to be an interesting area to look at.
That's
For.
yeah, that's it's amazing. This is your area. I mean, all the
Hmm.
things that are exploding here. And these platforms, it's like every page you hear about these platforms. So the big players are obviously really tied into this. They're developing platforms where, explain to me what when they say it's a platform, what are they talking about? They're using their AI and their data stream to provide
Yeah,
data
they're
and
owning.
actions.
Yeah, so basically a platform is a consolidation of assets towards,
Uh,
servicing a workflow, and basically it's end to end, right? It's
yeah.
the intake of data, analysis, the production of insights, and the closed loop feedback of, getting the analytics, and making it better, right? And that's by owning that stack, you have a platform
Gotcha.
that can achieve a function. And for healthcare and life sciences, that's these data-rich companies are now turning that into execution
Oh,
platforms, right?
so they take the data, they put a tech stack with AI embedded in it, and then they offer the ability to leverage that entire stack and the data combined.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm in more marketing. I see other companies doing that on the marketing side as well. So now I get what these guys are doing, what these folks are doing. That's a great insight. Before we jump, is there anything else you want to add as a final little net summary on what's going on in AI in healthcare?
Well, we're seeing that ownership of data turn into, becoming more platform centric, and now we're seeing AI become the action layer. We're
Yeah.
talking about AI making
Oh, right.
decisions, right? AI is making decisions to take that into execution, but that's where the risk lies. What if it makes the wrong
Yeah.
decision?
Yeah.
And so,
Here's your drug.
yeah,
Whoops, wrong one.
yeah.
Or it's administering the drug. Whoops, gave you a little too much.
When it has insufficient context, how are you going to know, right? How is the
Yeah.
AI going to know? exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, we got to make a decision about which one gets shipped out first, right?
Yeah.
Hey, here's a real-time question, Tori. Do we ever expect a person's genetic net become their own data? Oh,
I
that's
think
interesting.
we're already seeing that, right? Essentially, if they, right now there are a lot of, I think ancestry.com and what other
What's the one that went under?
23andMe,
They sold it.
23andMe,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
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 They commercialized those individual
Yeah. Even
genetic
though they said
maps.
they would
Yeah,
never do that. Oh, we'll
yeah.
never do that. They went broke and then how are you doing it?
They sold their assets, and it didn't, that included the patient
Yeah.
genome.
Yeah. Well, that's been Alex Jarett with Dr. Amit Shah. And we just did a short segment on AI trends in healthcare. And that was great, Amit.